Hi, Steve Mills, the Prudent Marketer here, and welcome to the 9th out of 10 videos. After this one, you've only got one to go. Tell me, as watching the videos and hopefully taking action, has it had an effect on your business? Has it hopefully had a profound effect? That'll be fantastic, and I'd love to hear. I'd love to hear your story, find out where you are, what you've implemented, and ideally, hopefully, what results you've got as a result of some of the ideas that I've shared with you. Last time I spoke about, again, one of the keys to, if you ask me, what is the number one reason that businesses don't market themselves effectively, it would be number 8, failing to implement. Failing to implement is probably the biggest mistake that I see in small business marketing. It just never gets done. It never gets done. It's not that the email doesn't work. It's that they send out a quarterly email if you're lucky, and it takes 10 weeks to sort out the newsletter, and it doesn't win any business. So they're never that keen to do it again, and that's the truth. So I really hope you don't fall into that trap. And whilst everybody is busy, you got to see this as one of the most important parts of your business is the amount of time, effort and money that you put into your marketing. One of the things I see a lot with marketing is people let me get my finger right, people start here and they come to us often desperate that they've not winning any business and things are terrible, and then over a period of time, because they've focused on their marketing, things start heading in the right direction and things start going better. And then they get to a level somewhere around here and they get really busy. They're actually doing work for clients, and all of a sudden marketing tails off, and all of a sudden the number of leads that they currently get starts to dwindle, and then they get desperate again, and so off they go, and things start to improve. You get the picture. So I really don't want you to fall into that trap. However, mistake number 9 I call not spreading your web. What do I mean by that? Well, we all know in modern age more marketing is done online than offline, and the truth of the matter is, what is it that you're actually doing in terms of spreading your web? The days of having a website and putting it on the internet and hoping and believing that just having a website there is going to create business are just long gone. I actually don't think they ever existed at all, but you certainly can't do that now and hope that you're going to win business. I hear, again, one of the excuses that I hear for this is that, our website is just a brochure site. We didn't build it to win business. Do if that's you, then I'm going to apologize for being abusive to you here. But I'm doing it in I'm sure you see where my passion is coming from. That is just the biggest cock and bull story. BS, that's what that is. Do you really not want to win business from your website? Is that why you built it? That's why you spent thousands of pounds on it, so you could not win business from it? That's just, I don't know, crazy if you did. If we've got a website and you got a website, you got 2 real keys to its success. It's not how good it looks. It's not what it says on it necessarily. It's not this wonderful design. What it is 2 things. One is traffic. How many people are coming to your website, and what are you doing to increase traffic? Now the truth is, you could do many things. You could do SEO. You could do search engine marketing with pay-per-click advertising, with banner advertising. You could do email marketing, driving people to your website. You could do social media. You could do LinkedIn. You could do pay-per-click advertising on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and even YouTube now. You've got advertising on there. You could do remarketing. You could do a whole load of things online to drive traffic to your website. But what about offline? You know, I could stand up at an event and speak in front of 1,000 people and say to them, you know, if you want to know more about me and what I do, there's a free report on my website. Go to theprudentmarketer.com and download it now. You know, I could offer a free this, a free that, and just, you know, tell people. I've got it on my business card and, you know, on the side of my van if I had a van, you know, you name it. We've got to be trying to maximize the true potential of our website by getting loads of people and making sure they're the right type of people visiting our website. However, that's only half the deal. The next half is conversion rate optimization, CRO, conversion rate. You know, how good's your conversion rate? It's no use spending loads of time, money and effort getting people to a website that doesn't convert. You know, why would you do that? That's like just bragging rights. Aren't I popular? I get 10,000 people to my website every day. Oh, really? How many do you convert? Well, none. You know, that's not going to, you can't put website visits into the bank. And so you need to think about what are you going to do with your website to make sure it converts better than it is doing right now. So again, where does that start? Well, the old saying in advertising is that the headline is the advert for the advert. On your website, the headline is the advert for your web page, if you will. So you might want to start improving your web headlines. So for example, if you've got a page called Our Services, you know, can't you think of anything better than Our Services, even accountancy services or landscape gardening services? At least that's saying what the page does, whereas Our Services tells me nothing about what the page does. And I'm sure you could come up with a better name than, you know, accountancy services if you're an accountant, surely. Then you've got to look at the text and the subheads and the pictures. And what about using video? You know, I can tell you now that pages on our website definitely convert significantly better by having videos like this one on them. And so, you know, you might want to think about adding video to your website. In fact, you absolutely should think about that. What about some sort of form, you know, a little box where people can sign up to something, where they can, you know, download your latest white paper or special report or ebook or something like that, or gain access to a part of your website by filling in their contact details. What about using something like live chat? You know, you've probably seen where the box pings up and somebody's there to talk to you on the web and you can start communicating with people. And, you know, I don't know what's right for you in your business. This is going out to thousands upon thousands of people in hundreds upon hundreds of different industries. But what I do know is that whatever your conversion rate is, it's probably not maximized. And I say probably, it's almost certainly not maximized. So you need to work on that. You need to work on how do you get a higher percentage of the people who visit your website to inquire. And by the way, out of interest, the world average is 1%. So that's the world average of websites. So 1% conversion rate. So if you're average, then 1 every 100 people who visit your website should make an inquiry. So if you're, you know, you're doing well, that for most people is actually quite high. But anyway, that's all I'm going to say for now. Think about that. Think about how you're spreading your web. What are you doing to market yourself online? What are you not doing to market yourself online? And the things that you are doing, how could you do them even better? So this is Steve Mills, the Prudent Marketer. If you want some help from me, it's an area that, you know, I've spent over 30 years studying, and I'd love to be able to help you. Go to www.theprudentmarketer.com or phone me on 01256 242 272, or you can email me at steve@theprudentmarketer.com. Thanks very much for listening.